On today's Home Media Minefield, I'm going to be looking at the Blu-ray release of Steven Spielberg's DUEL, coming up. Hello, I'm Keith and welcome to Home Media Minefield, helping you with information to navigate the complexities of home cinema and home media entertainment. And today, following up from an unboxing that I did earlier, I'm going to look at the 1971 thriller DUEL, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Dennis Weaver. Now, when I did the Steelbook unboxing, I said I wasn't sure what region this Blu-ray was. I have since checked and it is a region-free Blu-ray, so it covers regions A, B and C, which means it will play anywhere. Now, I'll put some links in the show notes below as to where you can find this and buy this. And incidentally, if you do ever use any of my links to purchase products, then it does help the channel to grow at no additional cost to you as a consumer. So you'd be doing me a great favor if you use those links. But anyway, onto the film itself. Now, first up with the picture quality, this has been fully restored from its original negatives, and this, you know, for a 1971 television movie, looks fantastic. When I last saw the film, it was at a special screening here in London on the big screen from a 35mm print, and it was full of scratches and tears. It was faded. It just didn't look great, although obviously awesome to see it on the big screen. But for this, they really have cleaned this up. The colours are vibrant and pop, particularly the red of the car, which was always Spielberg's intention. And the imagery, even though there is a little bit of natural film grain, looks pretty clear throughout. Now, the film is presented in a 185:1 aspect ratio, which was how it was released at the time overseas for theatrical showings. Now, when this film was screened originally on television, it would have been in a 133:1 aspect ratio, because back in the 70s, TVs had a 4:3 format rather than the 16:9 format that we have today. Now, obviously, I get when producing a high-def version of this for home media, you want it to fit and look correct on your high-def 16:9 television. However, I kind of wish that they had included a second disc with the 4:3 74-minute TV version as well as the 90-minute theatrical version in 185. I would have even paid a little bit more if it had included that second disc, but I can see why they haven't done that. Historically, the original film was 74 minutes long, made for television, and when it got a theatrical release overseas and across Europe, Spielberg went back and filmed some additional scenes to make it a 90-minute version, and that's when it was matted into a 185 aspect ratio. As I said, I'm really happy with this transfer. I just wish, as a completist, that there could have been both. Okay, that takes us on to the audio, and for this there has been a 5.1 audio mix done for this. It works rather well. Again, considering we're talking about a film from nearly 5 decades ago that was made for television, the audio design on this works quite nicely. There's some real low frequency stuff for the sound of the truck. All of the dialogue is clear, and the wonderful music and sound design that's done in this works really well in this mix also. Again, the purist in me wishes that there was a second disc option here that not only had the 4:3 aspect ratio version of the film, but also included the original mono soundtrack for that. But I know I'm asking for a lot here. They've done a great job with this remastering. Now on to the special features, and although there's nothing new here, they've essentially ported the features that were produced in 2001 for the DVD release. They are all included on here, and they are, having watched them again, actually quite comprehensive and decent. So first up, we get a 35-minute conversation with Steven Spielberg, which, as I said, was filmed in 2001. Now, Steven Spielberg talks passionately and in a lot of detail about how he went about doing this film, how he seized the opportunity to do so even though he only had 10 days in which to shoot it, how he was very familiar with Richard Matheson's work through being an avid fan of the Twilight Zone, how he kind of thought of the movie as like Psycho on wheels. He talks about how he insisted that he wanted to shoot it on location rather than doing process shots in a studio, and he credits all aspects of production in making this. Not only does he go right across the actual filming process of this, he points out mistakes that are in the film, such as him being reflected in the telephone booth and not realizing at the time. And he talks about the post-production, both the editing and the sound design, and how he used one of the sounds of the truck later in Jaws. Now, Spielberg doesn't do commentaries, but this really was a fascinating dive into the production, and he crams quite a lot of information in the 35 minutes that he talks for. He even shows overheads and plans of where he was going to put the camera placements on the various locations around the set pieces of the film. So even though this is not a new special feature, I'm really glad it was ported across. Also ported across from the same interview is Steven Spielberg on the small screen, and this is a 10-minute featurette that looks at Spielberg's television work that he saw as an opportunity to learn and try things when he was very young. And it covers everything from Night Gallery through to Columbo. Again, really good that it's been included on here. Next up, you get a 10-minute interview with the late Richard Matheson, where he talks about where he originally came up with the idea for the short story and how he went about adapting that into a full screenplay. He also says how happy he was with the adaptation that the young Spielberg did on this particular story. Now, the Blu-ray is rounded off here with the 70s theatrical trailer and an image gallery with some promotional image work, etc. for the release of this. Now, like I said, I'd have liked to have seen a 4:3 mono TV version of the film included as well. And it would have been great to have had some new special features. A commentary from a film historian would have been excellent. Hey, I'd have loved to have done a commentary on it. So that's that. But all in all, I'm very happy with the overall audio, video and special features on this package. And I'm glad it's available. So that brings me to the end of another home media minefield. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, then please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss anything moving forward. I publish home media unboxings and reviews every week on films, both old and new. If there's anything in particular you'd like me to cover, please put a comment down in the show notes below and I'll look into that for you. I'll also put some links to some of my other work, including a podcast where I talk about this film Duel in a lot more detail, so please check that out also. But in the meantime, thank you for your time today, and I will speak to you at the next Home Media Minefield. Bye for now.